Now, over to Mr. Annamalai, who has been an IPS officer of highest integrity and values, and who has sacrificed that to come into politics to be a role model for future India, that educated young men should come into politics. Now over to him.
Dear Vaidyanathan sir, and most importantly, Ariyanbu sir, a person who is a role model for any civil service aspirant with this humility, kindness, knowledge, and his tenure as Tamil Nadu's Chief Secretary will go down in history as one of the best periods Tamil Nadu has seen. A good public servant occupying a very good position serving the government. In a way, Ariyanbu sir has made my talk a little bit easier because he laid the platform. And that too coming from his mouth, because he lived that experience for multiple years, multiple decades. Normally civil service in India, if anybody is trying to look at it very closely, different decades had seen different kinds of people entering civil service. So right now, I'll be the little bit critic on the other side, because I intentionally chose to play this role in a forum like this. My worry in a big country like us, where the population is very young, about 13 lakh people, 1.3 million, they take civil service every year. And this filtration model, finally it brings down to about 800, 850 people who qualify. And one among the 850, the best among the 850, by virtue of their age in which they got selected, by virtue of the state in which they entered, finally they'll get into that apex scale, the chief secretary or a DGP. But for every 850, 900 people who enter civil service, we see a lot of great talents who get left out. In India, a lot of youth have this dedication and commitment. But the structural problems that we have in our public service recruitment over multiple years that is built into it, it has created a lot of problem where the country, we are not able to utilize the youth's potential to the fullest ability. I think that I hope and pray in a very mature democracy now, 75 years later after our independence, a country that is trying to achieve by 2047 a certain place in the world, I believe it is the right time to take a lot of bold reforms in government, bold reforms in recruitment, so that we don't test the youth by making their younger life to write exams for 7 years, exams for 8 years, exams for 9 years. I just saw in Kerala, day before yesterday, the Kerala cabinet has raised the Kerala Public Service Commission, the upper age limit to 40 years. And imagine somebody entering the service at 40, because you see there is an aspiration. And for OBC it is going to be 43, for our friends from SC/ST community it is going to be 45. You pull it, somebody trying to get into that for 10 years, 8 years, 9 years, this coaching mafia, getting into all those things. Then getting trained for 2 years, getting into service at 42, 43. And by the time they get into this IAS, they get absorbed into it, they'll be 50s. I think it is time our country does a lot of innovation in terms of how our youth can get into public service. There are many people who keep arguing. Niti Aayog keep writing papers. In 2025, Niti Aayog has started a reforms section within Niti Aayog. I think it is time for bold reforms where we encourage our youth to get into public service at multiple levels. Youngsters getting into it at 25, 24, putting in 30 years of service like Ariyanbu sir, getting retired at IAS, fantastic, all their accumulated experience from their service to rural India to an urban center gets reflected in the policy planning. But also if somebody is not able to make it and they're deciding at 27, 28, this is not for me, getting rejected, dejected, giving them an opportunity to come once more into the system. Right now, unfortunately, the lateral entry is kind of struck. Though we had it for a couple of years, it is struck now. I hope we restart it where a lot of youth, even at 40, 45, are able to find a way to get into it after doing something in private service. Because not everybody at 20 is clear, not everybody at 21 is clear, not everybody at 22 is very clear about life. People might take a private life, they might do something in life, maybe at self-actualization. At 35, 40, they might have some idea, I've earned enough money, or my family is stable. There could be that kind of people. I'm looking at millions and crores of youngsters, a little bit of self-actualization with a kind of clarity and commitment, with dedication, trying to get in at 40. That is the first thought I want to share here. I think we all should become a little bit more more bold oriented, reform oriented. When I see the American ambassador, Sergey Gore, a guy from US, ambassador to our country, he's 39. He's just 39. He's the ambassador of America to India. When I see where are people with their potential at 39, they write an exam, write, probably they don't get an opportunity to serve, then probably they take a shot at something else in life. We waste their young potential. So this is my biggest worry. In a big country, the country is not able to generate so many Group A, Class A jobs. It is getting stuck between 600 to 1,200. Some great times, 1,200 people get into civil service. Some worse times, 600 people get into it. The second point I thought we should look more deeply is, a karma yogi mindset is very important for the present generation of youngsters. When Aryan Sir chose to enter civil service, the time was very different. No social media, no looking at our neighbor to say, you've done this, I've done this. But this generation of youth, the kind of the theory in which they are getting schooled, getting into colleges, coming out, there is a sense of competition everywhere. And this education model has built competition at multiple levels. So what happens is there is a fierce contest to pass an examination. It has become like a pride or a badge of honor. I think when people pass an examination with this mindset, whatever they chose to do in life, it is always this mindset to succeed, mindset to show, mindset to prove, mindset to be the best. So this creates a sense where the top services in our country has become like this elite babudam. And many people get detached. If the whole country is full of Aryan Bus, we are not going to have this conversation here. It is a country of karma yogis. There is a sense of a good public sense from Group A to Group C. I think this is something even before our youth get into public service. The school and the college, the mindset in which we groom, a sense of detachment, a certain clarity before they enter public service. Like Aryan Sir said, looking public service as a sense of calling, not a profession to prove to somebody that we have achieved, we have arrived, we have come, we are probably the elite in the country, the 0.001% of our country. And there is also a problem with the political system. And right now, the seamless balance that is supposed to happen in a political system where the good officers are supposed to occupy good posts to serve our people, it is not there. And Aryan Sir, I know, if I look at his career, I'm just taking Sir's name because he's here, one of the greatest civil servants of Tamil Nadu. All 30 years, whether we have utilized fully his service to our state. Probably he might say, no, every profession is equal to me, every job is equal to me, every post is equal to me. But many times I've felt the state fearlessly, the politician should utilize good civil servants in cutting edge posts where they are not afraid to take that risk, take that important decisions. That is why the politician should also come with a certain sense of clarity when they sit in that role. And people expect delivery. We are very happy after 2000, even in the election process, 3 out of 5 governments got voted out of power before 2000. If you look at the Indian statistical history, good governments out, bad governments out. So right now we are seeing 5 out of 7 governments getting back to power post 2000, which means people are looking at delivery, people are measuring a government's performance. So this will give a lot of impetus for politicians to stay, a lot of impetus for politicians to push people like Aryan Buji to do better, and politicians to reform the system more, not unnecessarily put our youth to write exams after exams after exam, multiple exams. Finally at 35 to 40 to come settle down. These are my initial thoughts. I think the time for radical reforms is needed very fearlessly. Lot of changes because the country is hungry, aspirational. We miss the bus, probably will miss the 2047 bus.
But Mr. Annamalai, if exams are not there, what other mode of operandi you suggest for bringing youth into civil service? You mean to say lateral entry? For that, is there any thermometer or is there any this thing to bring them in?
Sir, normally
if exams are not there.
Yes, sir. Normally, when you look at civil service, of course, there is qualitative, there is quantitative. You have to look at both. But nowhere in the world you are looking at 1.3 million people writing an exam. I filtered it down to 800. And this government from 2017 has started a process. Even if you have participated in civil service, gone till interview, if you are not selected in interview, instead of treating the whole career as a waste, preparation as a waste, they have started something called Pradipa Setu. They said, we'll put all your details into a website. Any private recruiter can look into it. The other government recruiter, PSUs, the NTPC, those kind of governments can look into it. They can pull the civil servants who have qualified prelims and mains but not interview, take it from Pratibha Setu and do it. Last 5-6 years, it's a very successful model. So there is no examination required again. You just do an interview, you get into a public sector unit, you start serving because you're looking at duplication. It's 5 years. Can we make it better? The point I'm trying to argue is, sir, we should have a mindset to push fearlessly again and again. So right now, many of us get into a status quo mindset. Second, when you look at a lateral entry, when American model works on the spoil system, your new president comes, a transportation secretary, somebody who's best in the world, you call him as transportation secretary. You got a treasury secretary, you call somebody best in the business, you do it. A spoils model. India, somehow, you need lateral reservation, you need a talent, a subjective talent to come into the government at 40, 45, who's matured enough to understand what is artificial intelligence, to understand a core technology. But somehow we are very fearful of accommodating them into the system also. You give them 5 years.
But sorry to interrupt, but in Indian parliamentary system, you can anyway draw them as ministers.
Correct, sir. But we have to understand, a minister also, you put them, you take them through the Rajya Sabha route, or you make them not to contest election to come. How many youth here who want to serve our government, if not getting into civil service, are willing to go through the election battle and come out unscathed? That is the other problem. But you can't accommodate everywhere. I'm saying, at least in some level in Group A, you bring people at 40, 45 inside, allow them to serve the government. You have a model of recruitment, somebody with a distinction in private service, give them new energy, a zeal. At 40, 45, let them come in, kind of retool the system to push the government to perform better is my argument continuously, sir.
How do you look at this?
No, my point is, whenever a person prepares for civil services for umpteen times, sometimes he gets frustrated. I have seen people who prepare for civil services for 9 years, 10 years, and in the process they get frustrated. That's a fact that we have to agree. But I have always seen that the people who prepare for civil services do not remain unemployed. They may either get into Group 1 of the state government, or they will get into Group 2 or some other organization. The knowledge that they get will be highly useful for them, even if they go for some private enterprise. One of my friends, he prepared for civil services when I was sub-collector Nagapatnam. He could not get selected, but he chose to become an entrepreneur, and even now, of course he's in Tirupur, even now he says that the preparation during the civil services examination is helpful to him, and he has become a successful entrepreneur. The knowledge is not going to be wasted. As far as utilization of the services is concerned, one thing that we could rightly agree is about utilizing them even in the private sector when they are competent. That could always be done, because these people will be more knowledgeable. They will know about constitution, they will know about polity, they will know about the history, they will know about the culture. The syllabus now includes even ethics paper. I don't think that ethics can be included as a paper and people would have ethical integrity. It is totally a different phenomenon. But somehow or other, they will know about the ethics, integrity and all those things. That could also be there. So the possibility is there. As far as the utilization of the services in the government sector, we should always say that it should not be biased and it should not be partial. They should not be chosen out of nepotism or cronyism or favoritism. That chance should not be there. However, when we had the privatization principle inducted in government, there were a lot of opportunities for the talented people from the private sector to be inducted in the board of governance, and even 40% of the people could be from the private sector who can give their expertise in shaping the particular industry. So their experience could be used. So all these possibilities are very much there.
You are talking about dedication and commitment. We have got 2 officers here. Both of them have had an impeccable record as civil servants. Now tell me, the people who come in, you have come across so many youngsters coming into the stream. Tell me, do they remain dedicated and committed as they go along and when they mingle with politicians? And their senior bureaucrats?
So we cannot make a generalized statement about the caliber of the people. There may be a few people who may dedicate in the beginning, delegate later, and abdicate in the end. We have come across some people also. But there are a large number of people who are committed to the service. As I told you, the civil servants are by and large anonymous, except a few who make a noise and make the people feel their presence. By and large, they go unnoticed. And today, of course, you have the social media in which some of the deeds are being popularized.
Are they not influenced by the corruption of the politicians?
Sir, I would only say that it is not something which can be generalized. There are a large number of people, they try to view interference as unethical and accept intervention. Politicians have a role that has to be understood. Many a time, the gap between the administration and the people is filled by the politicians. Ultimately, the political masters have to take a decision and the civil servants are supposed to suggest the various alternatives that are available with them. For example, when they are intervening in a particular thing, sometimes you may not be aware of it. Interventions have to be looked into and interference are to be averted. So we cannot make a generalized statement. Even now, large number of programs take a shape only because of the civil servants. Maybe the ideas will be given by the political masters. I am of the opinion that if the civil servants are highly committed, definitely a huge progress could be made. Even for that matter, I am talking about the uniform services. There is a beautiful saying which says that it is like a scarecrow feeling highly proud that it could scare the people because it's a scarecrow. It's not like that. Only the people who are stuffed with the straw will be puffed with the pride. They are sacrificing their lives on umpty number of occasions. They are the people who are restoring the law and order. Sometimes they face threats, they suffer injuries. So we cannot generalize, and many civil servants are highly committed and dedicated. We should also spread the message. It's very, very important that we should spread the message to the youngsters and tell them that this is a beautiful experience by working for the people, and when they retire, they should not regret that they have not used the opportunity that was available for them. Because the moment you are out of your office, you cannot sign even in a single file. This is a golden opportunity and that has to be utilized properly. Maybe this kind of enclave may be helpful in spreading the message to the youngsters. Thank you very much.
Mr. Annamalai, did you resign your job because you got frustrated with the way the IPS cadre and you were not able to deliver what you wanted in services? There's a general feeling.
I think that many kinds of people are into civil service. You go there at 22, 23 with a certain mindset. You have seen a bit of life. You pass an exam, you go there. You get a life experience at 30, 35, sir. You look at life very differently. Policing is a great service. I thoroughly enjoyed every single day of my role there. I still remember the day I resigned. I met the Karnataka Chief Minister to give me resignation. He said, why? Maybe I'll tell the story, it will answer your question. I said, sir, I want to do other things in life. He said, what? I said, I want to get more into grassroots. Here I feel I'm more like chasing the bad guys all the time. And I think I've done enough. Maybe 3 districts now. I've chased enough bad guys. But I felt I want to feel a bit of positivity, more towards grassroots. He said, I want you to reconsider. I said, I've considered enough, sir, but I think it is time I should leave. He said, I'll give you a day's time, you come back again. Again, I met him next day. I said, my time is done, I want to leave. He said, the problem, Annamalai, is when you resign now, people will say you're frustrated. People will say, I'm a bad boss. People will say the politicians have kind of pressurized you. So you have to tape a video and give it to me. So I had this very unfortunate or unique situation where I had to tape a video as a person in uniform the last day of my service. In the video, I had to say the politicians are good, the CM is good, everybody is good. I'm only resigning on my own violation. Cutting the long story short, sir, there could be somebody inside who might have different pathways they think they can do better at 35, 40. That is why I keep telling, if there's an opportunity to go out and come back, 5 years you want to go out, do an NGO, serve an NGO. Right now, there's a provision in the government of India. Maybe work for a private sector that is not competitive. Again, come back into the government. You maintain your seniority, you should do. I think it is time we should allow people. For me, I felt I should get more into grassroots, see more positivity, maybe get a bit into policy making as well. Maybe and when I become 50, 55, get into a bit of a policy making as well. So everybody is unique, but there could be a Ryan Bissar who might think, let me put all my 40 years here, little by little, start changing things. When I become chief secretary, I will start doing everything I felt I should have done as an assistant collector or a deputy collector on day one. So there are different kinds of people. So there are also people from my batch who have resigned, they have started companies, they are employed with corporate sector. I don't find any fault with them also. As long as all their talent gets retained, it starts serving society in some form. The talent gets percolated down, I'm happy about it, sir. Thank you.
Only one thing I would say that in the Western countries, something called midlife transition is there. So people get bored with a particular occupation for a long time and they would like to explore some other thing. A doctor becoming a musician and an army personnel becoming a literature. For example, William Golding got even Nobel Prize. The possibilities are there and the interest and acumen varies from person to person. Thank you.
But both of you agree that dedication and commitment among youth who are coming into the government services are very much there?
Very much there. We cannot negate it. Very much there. And only thing is, there are a large number of people who work silently and produce results. They may not come to limelight.
There's a dedication to serve and commitment for the cause. Because it's a long journey, and the moment you get into public service in whatever form, be it politics or civil service, unless you think it's not a 100-meter race, you you change file, tomorrow morning India will not change. So people should get committed for 30, 40 years, stay the course. As long as they do it, change is visible. So that mindset you should have is my humble submission, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Irenbu, thank you very much.